Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Please, if you've not subscribed, just kindly go to that red subscribe button and hit it. And also, if you are expecting to get notification for every video we publish, just make sure that you hit on the bell icon, and anytime we put videos on our channel, you get it at the snap of a finger. All right, let's look at this critical issue, and it has to do with the Rivers State Governor Wike. We all know him to be very fearless and one person who will not allow issues that has to do with his state to be swept under the carpet. And this time around, he's facing the federal government straight away. And what's the cause of the rancor? Why is he taking the federal government to court? The reason is because over 11 billion naira have been withdrawn from the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, and it's been given to the police, and he is castigating it. And for that reason, he has made up his mind to take a step to the court. And according to him, he said that the lawyers have already prepared papers and they are going straight to the court. And for him, he believes that the money which they have been released back, which has been released to the police, that's MPA, Nigerian Police Force, they are actually part owners of those monies, and it's overly wrong for the government to take such decision without due consultation to the states who are meant to be beneficiaries of that money. All right, and I would like to read exactly what he said when he was asked question lingering on the 11 billion withdrawal from the FAC account. This is what Governor Wike said, and I read. He said, "Our lawyers will prepare our papers and we will go to court. Nobody says you cannot support the police, but you must get the consent of the state before taking their money. I have told chairman of the Nigerian Government Forum that Rivers State will challenge this matter in court. It's not about fighting federal government. My state is part owners of that money, so you must make people know whatever is the outcome of this case. Let it be on record. It's the sacrifice you must make for standing for the truth and for the people." That is what he had to tell Nigerians. Why he's taking the federal government to court? The reason is because the federal government have decided to give the police force. But most people who have, analyzed that case, most people are tilting towards another level. Some persons believe that the reason why Wike have decided to take up his lawyers and go to court against the federal government for giving police such a huge amount of money is because the police are not even doing what they are supposed to do as at this time. Now, if you look at some of the update that Wike has been given, most of those who have come into the state or who have, liaised with the police and have breached the borders, the Rivers State border closure, are the ones who are actually being tested positive, and which by implication it means that it is the security agencies that is putting the state in trouble. Now, when Wike was asked about the breach of the river border closure, and where he pointed out was actually that is the security agencies that were actually behind this. He said, according to him, he said that of the 5 persons that tested positive as at Thursday, that it was 2 children of the second death case who threatened to sue Rivers government for confirming the amount to have died of coronavirus. He now said today 2 of the children have tested positive, and even the pastor who was praying for the woman, the second death case, also tested positive. The 7th case was an offshore oil worker who passed a night in a Lagos hotel before returning to Port Harcourt on the 9th of April. When his symptoms started, he was admitted to a private hospital on the 20th of April, discharged on the 27th April before testing positive to the virus after almost 2 weeks of close contact with our own people. Had the security agencies not compromised their responsibility at the border, this man would have not been prevented, or this man would have been prevented from coming into Port Harcourt and threatening lives of our people with this virus. 29th April, our surveillance team picked up 2 men who came from Benin Republic with the help of security men manning the border despite the closure of all the routes. So long, our security personnel continued to allow people with this virus into the state through the closed borders without checking and assuring that they are quarantined. Our people will remain in danger to the effect of COVID-19. Man, I believe you've heard it for yourself. This was not said by me. It was actually said by Wike himself. And you just see how these guys are. People seem to play games with this COVID-19. They just make it look as if it's nothing to raise alarm. There are certain times that you must learn to control your emotion and refuse to allow it to control the circumstances around you. Because this whole thing is about emotion. And it's not only about emotion, it's about the corruptness of some people's heart. They are so corrupt that even at a point like this, that it has to do with the life of millions of people in a state, they don't care. Now, fairly recently, they have increased their salaries. The salaries, especially of NFA, that's NPA, that's police. They've increased their salary. And I believe that even other security agencies, they are earning very well. Now, if you have been given an instruction for it to be interstate boundary lockdown, it is your duty to ensure that you stop those people. The executive governor, his duty is to ensure he protects the life and property of the people, and to dash out instruction of that sort to ensure that the people, his people, are being protected, trusting so much on the security operatives that they will do their work. But unfortunately, these same people open the borders. According to him, he said they help open the borders for people to come in. Now, you'll be so surprised that it's maybe at the period of the night and they offer them something like 20,000, offer them something like 10,000, and they will allow these people to flow in to come and do what? When you know that there is a particular contagious sickness that is ravaging the whole world, and we're trying to prevent people from coming in, and just because of 10,000 naira, you allow people to come in. Does it make any sense? Now, guess what? I believe this guy so much. I believe him so much. I have a friend who is staying a little bit far, I think in Cross River State. On one occasion, he called me and said, man, the Cross River State governor is trying to do all in his power to ensure that there is no coming into the state. There is nobody coming into the state from any other state because he doesn't want any case of COVID-19 in the state. But he said, you'll be so surprised if I tell you that a friend of mine visited me some time ago. That was when this thing was starting. He said his friend visited him, and guess what? The friend was coming from Lagos. And by the time the friend came, he had to restrict the friend. No, you can't enter my house. Go and sleep in the hotel for 2 weeks. Let me be sure that you don't have anything, because I can't allow you. How did you come in? He said by 12 midnight, after so much talk with the police and all of that, they allowed them to come in, and that was how he got into the state. Despite the fact there had been a strict instruction that you shouldn't allow anybody to come in. These are some of the issues that make people really aggravated and angry over the attitude of certain persons. Now, most people are believing that the reason why Wike has decided to pick up the case of the 11 billion naira withdrawal from FAC account to the police by the federal government is consequence on that. It's because of actually the fact that the police have failed him in the area of protecting the border, making him also to be among the states that have, do minimal, but have a case of COVID-19, positive case of COVID-19. He's getting angry. Because why are we giving in so much money to these guys when they are not doing anything to protect us? It's really surprising. And, the question is, where are we going from here? Which therefore means if someone, comes with a bomb to enter into a particular state, you guys can playfully allow the person just because of money. The person comes in. That's what it means. Okay, for example, now, the man has decided to create his own surveillance team because of what? No more trust on the police. No more trust on the security operatives. he can no longer trust them as the case should be. He has decided to say, okay, please, I don't want to prevent these things from continuing, because if two Benin could walk into the state via the help of police, according to the governor, they could walk in and they were caught and they tested positive. It therefore means if we continue to allow these guys to stay at the border, they are going to compromise the health of our own people. So it's better we wake up to our responsibility in the little way we can. Whatever we have to do, let us do it. But right now, the main story is that he has decided to take federal government to court. And it borders on his own, his own third line is that there would have been due consultation with the state, because they are also part of those who are beneficiary of that money. And he's getting angry and said he must take the federal government to court. He's not fighting anybody, but just to make sure that that issue is addressed once and for all, so that it will not continue in the future. But then, looking at what people have said thus far, do you think that actually that is the reason behind his action, because of the way lackadaisical attitude of the police, towards this COVID-19 in his state has made him also to make up his mind to take them to court? Let's just go to our comment section. Please, no hate words. Let's just interact. What do you think about the step taken by this great gentleman? I'm talking about the governor of